Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. This is next video in the series. We are making inventory management system. In this video, I'm going to focus on the sales order, how to make sales order and sales order form. And this is what we are going to do. I have already created a form just to save yours and my time, and we'll be just putting things together into this sales order form. All right, there's another form with the name sales order details. So we're going to look into that. Of course, it will take a few videos for us to complete, similar to what we have done for the purchase order form. So if you are interested in learning, please make sure that you watch till the end so you can learn thing or two from this video. If you are new to my channel or you're returning, in any case, welcome and welcome back. And make sure that you hit subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Right. So as I mentioned that we are going to work on the sale order form. But before I begin, there's been one comment from one of my subscriber or maybe a viewer that if the purchase order is marked as completed, people may go and add another product or change the supplier name, and that's actually a very valid point, and I would like to address that before I move on to the sales order form. So very quickly I'm going to address that, because as of now, if you'll click on right, so completed the sales order status, or sorry, purchase order status is completed, but if I click on add product, it will allow me to add product. So this, logically speaking, should not happen, so we have to block that. So let's go and build that mechanism. So I'll go and add product button, dot dot dot, and in here I'll simply say, so we already have a condition, we are checking purchase ID. Now we have to add another condition, that if the status is completed. So I can go ahead and add another 3 line of code here, or I can go ahead here and say, or me dot status, wait, hang on, me dot status equals completed, then throw this error, right? So I can be just be more precise in this, or not precise, I mean, we can save some line of codes by adding the or me status equal to completed. So I think we should repeat that, but I just wanted to demonstrate this. So if I double click here, now if I try to add a product, here we go, another mistake from me. Okay, all right. Now, if I'll click on add product, we'll be getting an error. This action cannot be performed. Why? Because the status is completed. So you can repeat this essentially behind every button, and so you'll be able to actually uh, get that mechanism done. So if I'll go here, all right, for example, create, I can put that line of code here. So for example, else if me dot status equals completed, then all right, do cmd dot beep, and I'm going to copy this just to save time. I'm going to paste here, and the message will be, this action cannot be performed. Okay, so you kind of repeat that same message. So I'll copy it, I'll go behind update button. Here also we can add this 3 line of code, or you can amend this code and you can achieve the same result. So I'm showing you both ways that you can achieve the similar result. You can put some logic onto the form. So here we go. Okay, all right. Okay, so by doing this you can perform the, so for example, if I'll click here, now if I'll click on any of the button, it will say, hey, this cannot be done. Why? Because the status is marked as completed. Now you must be thinking, supplier is still, still is editable, seems to be editable, and if I click on, uh, if I change the supplier and I try to update, it won't allow me to update. So that's why we did the coding behind the update button, so it won't allow to make any update in any of the area of the purchase order form. So I think I have addressed, I think this is what the comment meant. So if you're listening, whoever commented, and if I have addressed your concern, please do let me in the comments below. Right, let's begin with our sales order video. Now let's think about it. What do we want to achieve? So with the sales order, what I would like to achieve is, I would like of course, we have sales order table, we have sales order details table. So that's why I have created the sales order details form. That form will be used as a sub form, which will embed into this form. So that will be done later on. But first, let's create a skeleton. Let's look into what exactly we should have. So when we look at the sales order, what I would like to have is on this side, on the left side of the form, I would like to have probably a list box um, to see what inventory is available, and or we can have a category of the product on one of the list box. Then another list box we can have the products themselves. So if the user double click on electronics category, all the electronics are populated onto the next list box. And I'm just visualizing, okay, because honestly speaking, if I'll do it properly for a customer, I will actually draw it out and just think about it. But here I'm just thinking on top of my head, and I hope that we'll be able to achieve whatever I'm thinking about. So we'll have one list box for the product category, another list box here for the products themselves. So the idea is that user double click on a category and see the related products in the next list box, and then from there user double click on the product. Now we can have that. So if user double click on a product, it automatically gets added into the sub form which we have created, and we are going to embed that into this form. So that can be done. So there are multiple ways you can achieve this. I will try to go with one of the way that I like to do it. So let's see if that is possible to do it. So there's going to be a lot of form making, a lot of changes, amendment in the form later on, and then there are there are going to be instances where we are going to modify the form also, so with the passage of time. So let's get started. So I'll go to design view, and in here what I'll do, I'll have a list box. So let's say a list box, for example, we come here, there's the list box, right? And I'll have the list box here. We'll cancel it, and we'll bring its uh, here we go, label here, and I'll say product categories, something like that. Okay, so for the user it is easy to see the product categories and to select the product categories as well. So later on we'll see the mechanism. First let's build the mechanism here. So I'm going to just extend that here onto the full form, and we'll give a name, and we'll give list categories. Okay, and let's save that. And then what we are going to do is we are going to achieve this. We're going to achieve this either by having the row source linked. So it's like a, it's not going to be dynamic, right? So what we can do is we can have this list box linked permanently with the respective table that we are going to link with. So we have the table called categories. Here we go. So we will link that list box with this table, and from there we can move on and we can look into what exactly we want to achieve. So let's go ahead and link that. So row source, okay, dot dot dot, let's bring the categories table, and let's fetch both fields. Let's close that. We'll say yes. Go to format, column count 2, and the first column we want because it resides, because the ID of the product category resides in that column. So 0 colon semicolon 1, no, not semicolon, 0 colon 1. All right, so if I'll go to the form view, we can see that the product categories are populated. So the idea now is that we will have the double click event. We'll have another list box here, which will show the products related to the categories. And we will double click on one of the category, and the related products will populate onto the next list box. So let's have that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the same list box and I'm going to paste it. Of course, I'm not going to keep it same. We will change it because this list box will have the products. So technically speaking, this list box will be a bit wider. So we can say products or list of products. It's up to you. You can choose whatever you wish to give the heading with. We'll give the name, and the name will be list products, so we can refer to it later on. Now we can have the row source like we did for the product here as well, and we can give the criteria of the product category. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's go here, let's delete it, and we will this time we'll fetch the products table, and we'll get the product ID, product, um, category ID. Later on we'll have it. So supplier, do we need to have supplier? No. We can, do we need to show the cost? No. Tax? No. Cost price? Yes, we need to show the no, not cost price even, because we're talking. I'm still in purchase order form. Okay, so what we want to show is the minimum stock, sorry, the selling price and the status. Now I'm going to tell you some one more thing, and that is we are going to change this later on, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Just give me a moment. So we'll have the product ID, product itself, and the selling price and the status of the product. Okay, so we'll have this visible. Or you want to keep the status? It's up to you. I think let's remove the status. Okay, but if you want to keep the status of the product, it's up to you. As I said, we are going to change this later on, probably after after the next video. I'm going to demonstrate why we are going to change this list box row source. But first thing, we need to have the category ID. Okay, so category ID is important to remember. As I said, we have another list box on our form, and the idea is that that list box resides the product categories. We double click on one of the category, and this list box gets filtered based on that category. So that's why the category is important. And I'm going to put the criteria to give that category. Okay, so let's go ahead and give the criteria, and we'll say forms, right? And on which form that list box resides, SOF, and we're going to give the reference of the list categories. Okay, so anything that is double click on the category. So if I'll run, as of now you don't see anything. Why? Because we have put the criteria in, and this is how it will work. And when we will load the form, then it will, the products will be empty. It won't show anything, unless you want to decide that you want to show some products. It's up to you, but as of now we'll keep the same. So now let's count the column: 0, 1, 2, 3. So total 4 columns. What we want to display actually these 2 columns, that's it. The first and the last column, we want to keep them hidden. We do need those columns, but we'll hide those columns. Okay, so we'll go to design view, close that. We'll go to the form design property sheet of the list box, and in here we'll change the column count to 4, and in here we will define the width of each column. So the total width is, as of now, is 3.625. So let's have 2.625 for the product name itself. Okay, and then we can have 1 for the uh, price, and then the last one we want is 0. Okay, now we'll see how it will look like. And we do want the column heads, and by the way, for this also we do want column heads. So let's go ahead and view it, and we can see there right now what is selected: household item. So you can see that the household items are visible. But if I'll click on electronics, nothing seems to be changed. And why is that? And the reason is because we have not put the event behind the electronics. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we want to change it dynamically. As I said, the idea is that the user clicks on the category and the products should be updated here. So let's go there in this design view. Let's click on the list box. We'll go to the event tab, and we'll have the on double click event. Okay, you can have one single click event, or you can have the double click event. Now I usually in these situations would avoid the single click event, because people by mistake can single click. But if you want, you can have it, it will work. But if you want to have double click, you can have double click. You know what, let's go with the single click. Okay, let's save one of the click when people are actually working in high intensity environment, so they don't have to double click in order to get the product. So let's have a single click event. So on click event dot 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 close the code builder, and simply we'll put one line of code, and that would be me dot list products dot requery. That's it. That's the one line of code which will update the products category. You won't believe that. Let's see it. So by default, actually not by default, because the household items are selected, that's why you see here. Now let's click on, remember the single click, we have done the coding behind single click. So let's click on electronics, and you can see the electronics are populated here. Okay, household item, electronics. Now for the user interface, for the user experience, sorry, what I would like to do is I would like to put these products into a proper, ascending or descending order. So basically alphabetically I want to see, so all the products that starts with name A, those should be on the top, and Z should be on the bottom. So I want to see that, so it is easy for the people who are operating this platform or this software. It is easy for them to actually look for the product. You can have a search box here which will allow them to search. Actually, that is better. And or you can have at least alphabetically sorted this list, so it is easy for even this list you can have alphabetically sorted. So let's go ahead and do that. First, let's go and do the sorting for the categories. Oh, not here. We'll go to the data tab, and in here we will do the sorting for the category ascending or descending. So if we'll go ascending, we will see that the A and then Z. Okay, so if I will go here and I will sort this by product name, but we'll do the ascending. And if I'll run, of course it won't show, but let's see onto the form itself. So you can see here electronics. So all the products that starts with A, they will write on the top, and then all the letters. So A, B, C alphabetically, this list will be sorted. Now it is easy for a user who is using this application. So for example, if they are looking for the laptop, they can simply press L on their keyboard and it will allow. If they are looking for security camera, press S and it will go through loop through all the products that are starting with the name with the letter S. Okay, so that's how you can build this mechanism. Right, so we are done with two list boxes, products and product categories. We built that mechanism of actually filter down the products that we're looking for, and now what we want is another list box that will show the sales order details. Right, so basically the idea is that we want to double click on one of the product that we want to add, and we want a pop-up form to open, and the purpose of the pop-up form will be purely to select the quantity. And because we can have multiple quantity, so for example a customer may request two quantity for a same product, so we should have ability to change the quantity, and then once the quantity is changed, the product should be added onto the list box here. So we want to build that mechanism, and again the user should be able to double click on the product in this list box, and the that pop-up should open again to modify the quantity if it is required to do so. And that pop-up screen which will open, we will use the form called sales order details. Okay, now there are many ways you can achieve this, but I would like to show one of those ways into this demonstration. So what I would like to do is I would like to actually go to design view. I will copy the list box, I'll paste it, it'll go down here, so I'll bring it back right on the top, and we will fetch this footer where it's supposed to be. Okay, now we'll expand this list box. Okay, we'll bring it a little closer here so we get a little bit more space. Okay, we'll give the name to this list box, list uh, sales order details. Okay, list SOD, sales order details. um, Sales order details. Okay, so that's there. Now we'll go to the data tab, and in here again, I've been demonstrating that we can achieve this using the record sets. And this is another way that you bind the list box with the row source. So you can have a hybrid approach to your application. In one of the form or multiple forms, you can have the unbound form, unbound list, and then it gets updated with the record sets. You can have that mechanism, or you can bind your list box and the forms or the reports with the proper row source as well. Now, I have demonstrated that in these two list boxes, I have bound them with the row source, so we don't need to use the record sets to actually update this list box. So what I'm thinking is, as I said, we will take the approach of hybrid approach, which mean in the same form we'll have some of the list boxes being updated with the record set. For example, the list box, this list box sales order details, and the two list boxes will be updated with the query itself. So It's a similar way. It's up to you the way you want to take your application, the approach you want to take, the approach that will be feasible for you. The reason I use record sets is because if this list box or this form has many records, and when you will be using this application on the networks are generally slow, and when you upload this application on the network and the user will double click and open the form, that means the form, if it is bound form, then it will have to upload everything, and it will have to loop through all the records, and then that will take a little bit time. So that's why I use record sets. So with the record sets, it takes only the information that is required. So out of thousands of records, it takes 5 records that are linked to that sales order, and it will quickly populate. So that's why I use the list box or record sets. So either you can bound this to the row source like we did for the rest of the two, or you can use the record set to update this form. So how about you bounding these to the query? I would go with that. As I said, you can take any approach as you wish to do so. So let's bound this list box with the query itself. So we're looking at sales order details. So this is the table that we're looking at, and sales order detail, order ID, product ID, tax, total price, status. Now, so these are the columns that should be populated. Now, what should be appeared onto the list box itself? We don't want to display sales order detail ID. We don't want to display the order ID. We don't want to display the product ID. So these 3 columns are hidden. What we want, however, is the product name. Now, how do we get the product name? Because we don't seems to have product name here. Well, we can get it from the products table because this is linked with the sales order detail form. So we can have the product here, right here. Okay. So these 3 will be hidden. We will see the product. We will see the selling price. We'll see the quantity. We'll see the tax. We'll see the total price. And if you want, you can populate the status as well. That means we would have to expand our list box because these are a lot of fields, these are a lot of columns that we have to display on our form. We'll see into that. So what we would like to do, however, I'll come back to this later on, but let me just fix the list box first. We'll go to the form design property sheet, and in here we can use the column count. So how many columns? We did not count, so let's go ahead and count. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns. Okay, so we'll say yes, property sheet again, format, 9 columns. Now, out of these 9 columns, what I said, we don't want to see the first 3. So we'll right away say 0, 0, 0. So these are first 3 columns are hidden. The next one is the product name we do want to see. So let's have product name, let's say 2.5, because the product names sometimes are bigger. And then we'll have the what was the next selling price. So selling price, let's say 1.2. And then we'll have after the selling price we have the quantity, so let's have 1. Oops. And the tax, let's have 1. And the total price, let's have 1.4, something like that. And the status, I don't want to see, so let's keep it 0. Now let's open this form and let's see how it looks like. Here we go. And as I said, we will be coming back and we'll be updating. So the product column seems to be very wide. We can narrow it down. We can narrow down the selling price or the quantity text. We can narrow it down a little bit. Total price also we can narrow down, and then we can see that how much form we have to expand. So let's go ahead and do that. So select that. Let's make it 2, the product name, 1, the selling price, the tax. So the total price also 1, the tax, and the quantity, let's make it 0.5. Okay, that's I think enough. We'll come back again. I know we have to. There we go. Now we can see a little bit of change. Product, selling price, quantity, tax, and total price. I think this is fine. What we can do is we can expand our form a little bit to accommodate all of that. All right, so I'm going to expand the width, and there we go. There you go. Okay, let's see now. And it's better now. Okay, now you can see it's coming together, right? Slowly, slowly, one by one. Of course, as I said, we are not going to cover everything in this video, and I'm going to close this video after adding few more columns here, and then we should be done. Not column, the fields. Okay, so let's now, this form is actually sales order form, so we have not done, we have not yet linked that form to this sales order form itself. So let's go to the data tab and record source dot dot dot, and let's get the table, and the table we are looking for is the sales table. Order ID, sales date, customer, and the status. Okay, there you go. So these are the four fields we will have onto our form. So what I'll do is, either we can select these list boxes, we can bring them down a little bit. Okay, so we can have those fields on the form. And let's go to the property sheet. Sorry, let's go back again to add existing fields. So we are looking for these four. Let's do one by one. Okay, order ID, sales order date, customer, status. Okay, let's uh, let's arrange them. This is not the fun stuff. Actually, I really don't like to do this. I hope, I wish Access would have been better in doing this formatting. I mean, if we just add the fields, it will do formatting automatically. I wish it is done, but anyway. So stack them. We'll go to arrange. We'll remove. We'll make it narrow. We'll make it full black, and we'll expand, and we'll say order ID, sales order date rather than sales date. That seems weird. Customer, and the status. Okay, let's increase the height. Let's make it 0.3 and margin 0.05. Okay, let's have that, and let's expand width a little bit. Now let's remove the layout so we can bring them down here one by one. Okay, so order ID is not really, we don't need really wide order ID. Date also, we don't want this much wider. Okay, customer. No, I know, if some of you are getting bored, guys, uh, I don't know what to say, but this is important, right? This is important to see. I remember in one of the videos in the past, when I created some of the videos, some people liked seeing this kind of thing. Some people said, hey, why didn't you create this offline and just come here and show us the VBA code? Why are you wasting our time? So I don't know, I'm just demonstrating online, because some of you may come back and say, you have not shown us how to do it online, so that's why I'm doing it online. Okay, now the customer, now we have all of this on our form. That's great. Let's make them bold as well, like headers. Now the customer, remember, we have a customer table. Okay, we want the customer to be populated in the drop down here. So let's convert that into a combo box, and let's go to the form design. Let's hook this field row source to the customers. Okay, customer ID, customer name. All right, and let's increase the height of it. We have to actually go to the properties. And why? Because we have to choose the columns count. So 0. Okay, now we'll go here, and we can see the customer details also. Perfect. So we have the um, order date, customer status, we have the product categories, products, we have the sales order details. I think the skeleton is, most of it is done. And this is great, because we are going to, in the next video, we're going to have a bit of VB coding, and we will take it further into the next step. And meanwhile, after watching this, if you have any suggestion, please do let me know in the comments below. That would be great. I may like it. Even if I don't, I will try to embed it into this form, because this video is for you guys, right? Anyway, that's it for today. I think if you like whatever you've seen, please make sure that you hit like button. Tell me in the comments below how this structure is, and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done, and hit the bell icon so you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. That's it. That's what I wanted to demonstrate. We'll take it further in the next video. Thank you very much for watching if you're still watching, and I will see you in the next one.